Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber, for the first time in a very long while, is doing a movie review, this time of the movie Tron Ares. And this will probably be the first time, I think, on my channel that I reviewed a movie by myself without any of my friends coming along to join us. We discuss this discuss the movie. So, yeah. The movie today is the one that I ended up watching in the cinema earlier this Saturday. Granted, it's like nearly 2 a.m. at night, so I'm being extremely late here. Let's see. But yeah, Tron Ares. Let's see, the third film in the franchise, and the follow up to like Tron Legacy, 15 years after a while, because well, Disney's sci-fi franchise, as far as I know. Granted, I've never really watched the first Tron, but it was like this film in the 80s that had a moderate, at best, moderate success, but not really the financial hit that Disney was looking for. But it was like gained a cult following, at least among sci-fi fans. Arguably a film that was praised for its visuals, but criticized for its screenplay and story, from my understanding. And that seems to be a case with like all the Tron films, at least from what I can tell. Which hold on, let me just actually share let's see a screen. Let's see. Let me just share a screen as where was I? Oh yeah, here we go. Just sharing screen. So yeah, let's see the Tron series, Tron Ares. Let's see. Arguably, this franchise has been since 1982, just 1 year before Return of the Jedi, if I recall. Basically, the franchise, I believe, was created by Steven Leiserberg, who I think was based off a game series and all that stuff, and decided to make it into. I can't recall if it was actually a game first or something. I don't know. Let's see. I know it's at least it's a franchise that had one movie for a long time and a bunch of popular video games. I think particularly like an arcade one. And then for years, well, basically about 28 years, let's see, into its got its like first sequel, Tron Legacy, and now let's see, Tron Ares. Apparently, it was a short film in 2010, and there was unfortunately the cancelled cartoon Tron Uprising, which had a bit of a story arc kind of let's see, CGI show set between Tron and Tron Legacy. Apparently, but the films are basically, from what I can tell, have always been a bit. Let's see, the reputation of these films have always been a bit mixed. Let's see, mixed from what I can tell. I can't really see. Criticus, as we can see here, the reviews have always been a bit mixed. In fact, interesting. It's not even like, as we can see here, 61, 51, and 53. So yeah. But the Tron has always had a bit of occasional popped into culture now and then. To be honest, I think I didn't actually learn about the Tron films until Tron franchise until like most people, it appeared in Kingdom Hearts 2, to be honest. So yeah, basically absent for years, had a cult following, a couple of video games, appeared in Kingdom Hearts. Then I think Disney at the time, when Tron Legacy was coming out, were trying to create their own sci-fi franchises and boy toy things. I think they're trying to do all kinds of things like what was that Barbarian show, that Barbarian Mars show, or something, Boy Meets Mars or something, but Mom and Mars. I can't recall, but they didn't have much success. Tron Legacy seemed to be like their first attempts of trying to do a sci-fi franchise before they bought Star Wars. And then once they bought Marvel and Star Wars, they decided, you know what? Let's do those film franchise instead of Tron. But it seems after 15 years, they finally decided to do like a sequel. And yep, here it is, Tron Ares. Now, from what I understand, this film is basically a soft reboot, as it follows a new original story, not really following up for the events of, let's see, Tron Legacy, which a moderate success, but probably not the one that Disney was looking for, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, but it seems like after 15 years, they decide that all right, we'll give this film series another go, see how it does. But they decided to probably do an original news story that's not necessarily a direct follow up after the last one. So yeah, thinking who knows, perhaps more people will go to it. But stars Jared Leto as like Ares, the title character. So yeah, anyway, I've gone rambling on enough about the background of this film and my knowledge and lack of knowledge of Tron. Time for the actual summary, if you will. So I'm just gonna let's see stop. I think this is it. Let's see. So yeah, the film is basically opening with like the history of like let's see. I think the Tron game companies of like let's see how it used to be. Ian Flynn, was it? Oh no, Kevin Flynn. How he disappeared. Talking about the Tron thing, then how his son took over, and then how he left for personal reasons, giving us a hint that yeah, this guy's not going to appear in the film at all, and that's leaving up to some mystery and all that stuff, and that how the company has fallen to these two sisters. I believe their names are what were their names? Eve. One of them's called Eve Kim, and let's see, I don't know the name of the other one, but let's see. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Kim. There's another one. And someone called Tess Kim. No, Tess Kim is dead, and Eve King is the one that's currently in charge with like this other partner. I think that does all the managing stuff or something. But yeah, she's in charge of like the Tron company now. But let's see, apparently there is a rival company now. Let's see, called Dillinger Systems, which is apparently led by Gillian Dillinger, the grandson of Ed Dillinger, who is sort of the antagonist of Tron, or at least I think the one that the Stark lieutenant and the NPC is is based off. The design is based off of. So yeah, basically you've got a sort of like family sort of history with like the whole thing, but granted no Flynns this time around. So yeah, they're basically in charge. The Dillinger Company is trying to create weapons of mass destruction. Trying to use the grid to create weapons and war machines and soldiers for the military, if you will. And Ares, starring Jared Leto, is arguably the top fighter for like that Dillinger wants to like get show to the military. Unfortunately for him, his creation, the programming can only last 29 minutes before reverting back into the grid, if you will. So he needs to find this sort of, I suppose you could say MacGuffin, if you will, to, hold on, let me just, what do they call it again? I think they called it the Permanence Code, that apparently Kevin Flynn had left behind, which you see Eve Kim with like her comedic assistant, I can't remember the guy's name, trying to find it in, I think, in the Arctic or something. I don't know, at least frozen, but they managed to successfully recreate an orange tree, which it shows their intent is to create resources. Meanwhile, their partners are trying to promote a game, but Dillinger hacks into the system at the time, sending Ares and his team at the time. Among them is, I believe, a character called Athena, sort of serving as the right-hand woman, if you will, and another, which I think, what is his name? Let's see, what's his name? Caius, so that at least is, they infiltrate, I think, the good guys' mainframe, if you will, guarded by like the sort of blue guards and all that stuff. They successfully steal the data, but I think the one dude, Caius, gets injured, Ares tries to go against his programming and try and save him, but as they all get blown up with Caius being deemed too effective by Dellinger, because he basically just considers them all expendable, if you will. And during this whole you see Ares throughout this bit is starting to have his own independent thoughts and thinking of like the outside world, which Dellinger's mother, I think, ends up showing concern. From my understanding, there's been a Dellinger in each movie. The first one was the bad guy that copied from Kevin. The second one was a son, I think, in charge of that took over his company or something. And now you've got Dellinger being in charge of his own, from what I can tell. At least I don't know. I can't remember the old details of the Tron plots, to be fair. So yeah, that is going on. Let's see. Dellinger is concerned it has to try and get his digital creations to last more than 29 minutes. Otherwise, the board of directors will remove him and replace him with his mother, since at the moment he's just sort of lied to their investors, if you will. But anyway, he got the information he wanted, and that Eve has this sort of permanence code, if you will. So he sends Ares and Athena after her after a bit of a bike chase, where eventually one of the bits was Eve takes over in the real world. She takes over one of the Athena's bike. Ares corners her. She destroys the data, but all the memories of it is inside her mind. Desperate, Dellinger, after causing a bit of chaos around the city, has her transported to the grid, where where it's revealed that the only way to extract the knowledge that she has about the permanence code, if you will, is to kill her. And this is where Ares, who has apparently downloaded everything about her on the web, which included a lot of her private life, in particular relation to his sister, which in content sounds a bit kind of like a creepy stalker, which apparently I think there's apparently some allegations against Jared Leto about that. I'm not sure, but I don't know. But from that content it looks kind of like that. But he has his own independent thoughts and has decided to rebel, betraying Dellinger with Athena now on hot tail. They escape the grid into the real world, and they arrive just after being chased by I think a bit of Athena for a bit, and then stealing someone's car from a shop or a gas station. Actually, they run into the assistant that Eve had at the her their company building, and they transport Ares to the original Tron grid world, while Athena tries to teleport Eve, but runs out of time, partly because she got distracted by a bit of rain. And then it seems during this time, Athena's been made the new master controller, because that was Ares' title at the time. But unfortunately, Dellinger's desperation to try and get the permanence code has lost the caused him to do all these rash actions, losing the confidence of his mother, and the board intends to sack him and replace her with her. But Athena, prior to obeying her code in a rather vague way, starts taking situations her own hand of summoning one of those iconic transport ships, if you will. Transport ships with you into the real world and kills Dellinger's mother, if you will. So he sort of grieves that, because he's trying his best, because he's realized he's lost complete control of the situation. As Athena's following Bob Obedient is following it her own way, instead of just being more rash, going it more extreme than even I think Dellinger would like. which gets blamed by his mother for causing all this, including her death. So yeah, that's going to probably scar him for life. But yeah. But anyway, Tron enters the original grid and meets a program version of Kevin, where they discuss, let's see, things. He eventually is able to. Ares is able to eventually persuade. Let's see. Let's see, the program Kevin about that he's doing it for the sake of helping Eve, and that he's got his own free will and all that stuff. That eventually gives him the code. Let's see. While this is going down, Eve and her and her fellow assistant, and as well as I think business partner and his assistant are sort of working together to try and bring Ares back, since I think during Athena's attack, the Tutsi teleporter was destroyed, but luckily for Ares, I think the Kevin program had another portal to get out of there or something, but yeah. But while doing that, they get attacked by Athena again. Eve decides to cause a bit of distraction while he tasks the others with destroying, I think it was Dellinger's grid. Let's see, hold on, let me just, let's see. Forgotten the names. I'm terrible with the names of this film. I apologize. Yeah, Dellinger. Yeah, it's Dellinger. So, Gillian Dellinger. Let's see, grid, which they eventually do succeed, but Athena captures Eve. Let's see, Ares arrive. They fight. Let's see, takes on her and two of her henchmen that she brought along with her, and eventually, as the grid is destroyed, let's see, Athena runs out of time, and as a result, let's see, permanently dies, if you will. And the police arrive to arrest Julian Dillinger, but he manages to fix enough of the grid of his to allow him to teleport himself there to escape his punishment. Ares now fully permanently able to stay in the world, though I think, if I recall, Kevin said that he probably should have called it the impermanence permanence code, because nothing is truly permanent or something like that. But I don't know, it's some sort of theme about that. But yeah, but Ares, goes his separate ways from Eve, as Eve, decides, as they had a bit of a conversation when they were in the outside world, of her wanting to quit after completing her sister's work, but decides to stay on, and the Encom company is able to create various resources to help benefit the world, while Ares is just enjoying life and also seemingly trying to search for Sam Flynn and what was it? What's the other one's name? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what the name of the other character was. Let's see. I think her name was that Isos girl. What was her name? Oh yeah, Cora. Yeah, is trying to go and search for them. Meanwhile, you get a post-credit scene of Gillian Flynn in his damaged grid, and he sees his own sort of code wing disc thing, picks it up, and starts to gain armor that looks a very lot like, I think, his grandfather's program copy of Stark, I believe. So that sort of ends the film, and yeah, basically what it is. Anyway, I suppose after being a bit of a ramble on about the plot of the film, I guess I should give my overall thoughts. I sort of checked out some of the other reviews, and what I have seen from what I can see, most are either mixed or negative. I mean, one review I watched was really negative about this being the worst film he saw this year or something, but I think this was like a professional film critic, so yeah, not your standard YouTube critic, so ouch. Granted, I haven't looked at any of the YouTube grifters because, well, they tend to have a habit of always ripping off Disney films regardless of how good or bad they are. So, yeah. But granted, yeah, from what I can tell, people are mixed. I'll definitely say I probably agree with everyone. Like, yeah, the highlight is the visual effects and the action scenes, and I guess the soundtrack. I can't really quite remember, let's see, which part of the soundtrack stands out at me at the time, since I've only seen the film once, but yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I definitely say, let's see, the film kept my attention because I didn't, let's see, I forgot to shake my foot for a bit while I was watching in the cinema, but yeah. But yeah, the action pieces is definitely, I'd say, the highlight of this film. I mean, this is basically what's always been Tron's strongest suit, is like, you know, the effects. So yeah, I definitely say let's see, which action scenes that highlight for me are the sort of like chase in the grid, where it's gone a bit of a sort of watery kind of chase before being more of a bike sort of chase. So I liked that at the very least, and I also like the sort of see action scenes with like when you get the discs now. And I think one thing that they've sort of done a bit differently is like instead of having full-on circle disc, you had like a sort of triangle disc for like Ares and later Athena down the film. So yeah. One thing that is also different about Tron Ares compared to the rest of this film is the fact that, well, you know, I've got action scenes in the real world, which arguably, I suppose most people say the appeal of Tron is to basically be in the in this digital world. But I do think it's like a sort of something that's like, this allows it to differentiate itself from the other two Tron movies, as you get to see how the Tron technology would like sort of affect the real world, particularly like the sort of motorbike chase you have with Eve trying to get away from Ares and Athena, and you see just how the sort of like long line grid affects other cars and how it crashes. Not really, funny enough, they don't actually get fully destroyed like in the game programs do, but sort of like let's see, gets either split in half or let's see, flipped over and slide, depending on how they interact with the thing. For example, a police car was split in half when it was like the sort of red line markings were like coming down behind them, and it was like they were like right in front of it. But yeah, but like in more of in the side, you're likely crash and this will be flipped over kind of thing. So yeah. Let's see. So yeah, that's sort of nice. What other action pieces? But yeah, generally I'd say but yeah, for me, definitely the chase scene in the grid, and then like I guess the fighting at the end, particularly between Ares and Athena. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, the characters, well, they're definitely a mixed bag. I definitely say, in terms of the highlight for me, I'd say the three characters that stand out is Ares, Athena, and Ian. What was it? Let's see, Loose. I forgot. I keep forgetting his name. Let me just get the name of the character. Oh yeah, Gillian Dillinger, and I guess to some extent also Elizabeth Dillinger, his mother and daughter of Ed Dillinger. So yeah, so but yeah, so you got that. I definitely say these characters are probably the ones that stand out. Arguably, let's see. Granted, I definitely say they're not the best characterizations. I mean, Ares is basically your standard weapon, sort of like weapon created for destruction, but gets his own sort of free thought and decides to sort of rebel against his creators and help this person that he's sort of come to admire. I'm not sure if it seemed to look like it was implying a love story, but granted, I will admit, just learning about her, let's see, everything about her by hacking, that's problematic. I mean, there's a little joke about how murder attempt, let's see, that doesn't sound as bad as murder attempts, but still, I know there's still some sort of issues with that, but yeah. I mean, but yeah, but it's not a bad story arc to go through, like let's see, an AI, let's see, being programmed, being, let's see, an emotionless killing machine before getting, I guess you could say, free will. So I do like that. Granted, I will admit, perhaps maybe it was, I do like, perhaps could have been done a bit more time to develop this, as I think you do have a few moments where he's trying to observe the rain, exploring, like looking at these like living creature things, and showing care for a comrade, and then that stuff. But I don't know. I think I would have liked a bit more, like maybe at least more of a conversation, either with what was his? Let me just check his name, Gillian Dillinger, or like I don't know, Athena, just to sort of build more of like relationships between either two of them. But maybe also perhaps learn a bit more. Let's see, perhaps maybe if had a bit more of an interaction with Eve before he sort of switched sides, at least. Perhaps maybe have him contemplate the fact that she seems to be the first person that seemed to be genuinely nice to her or something. But yeah, they're not the best, but I'd definitely say, let's see, he does a decent job. Same with, I guess, Athena, with like at first playing off like the loyal lieutenant, but then slowly sort of getting let's see, angry and feeling personal due to the betrayal that she takes matters in her own hand. Let's see how to carry out, let's see, the orders that she's been given, and doesn't care if, let's see, who she needs to eliminate to get in the way, including killing like Jillian's mother. But yeah, but I definitely say okay, Jillian is arguably your standard tech bro, sort of like Elon, probably unstable, sort of Elon Musk, Jesse Eisenberg, you know. I think it was Jesse Eisenberg. No, Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg. I'm thinking of, let's see, sorry, social network. But yeah, you know, all those kind of people you think of. But yeah, I definitely think he plays the part well of someone that is like just, let's see, just sort of loses his mind on the deep end of like getting desperate of trying to get like MacGuffin, if you will, but also has a bit of a step back when he realizes that he's lost kind of control of like his two main programs, and then losing his own mother, who now blames him for like her death, which arguably, like I said earlier, will be like probably something that will scar him. So I thought that was pretty well, and I do like the sort of I do think there's at least some relationship between his mother that's development, even though it could have probably been the mother was mostly used for exposition, detail info about, let's see, the plot with the bad guys at the time. But I thought it was like a nice sort of little dynamic where the mother's like, I raised you and taught you to be this powerful CEO, and you're disappointing me with your actions. And eventually it's just like had enough, and then ends up being killed as a result. And then Tetsi guilting the son and all that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. But the rest of the cast kind of okay. I can, let's see. To be fair, both Ares and Eve kind of, I guess you could say, have some sense of robotic or plain sort of performance, which I think sort of works when you're given like programmed AI creatures, let's see, characters. So I think it's like they don't have to be range of emotion, but let's see, Eve was kind of bland. Okay, you've got that little plot line of like wanting to carry out her sister's goals, but I think let's see, you don't actually get to see her really interact with her sister, except for a few clips from like when Ares is sort of downloading everything he can about her at the time. So it doesn't really give you enough to like I guess, let's see, for many people emotionally invest in like the bond they have, because it's like this is a no-name character. I think, at least from what I can tell, Tron Legacy had like that opening scene of like a young Kevin Flynn trying to bond with his son Sam. So there was at least a bit of effort there. Perhaps maybe if you got a bit more of something like that, with like at the beginning of the film, just before, maybe even, I don't know, flashbacks, or when Eve's trying to do like the whole code thing and remembers a death, and maybe a sort of promise. I don't know, you could do something like that. But honestly, she's just not that, let's see, all that interesting, really. I guess she's fine for, let's see, it's at least a motivation for like Ares to like betray Dillinger, I guess. So yeah, I think that might have worked out. But yeah. But her like staff, Etsy fellow staff, they're more of like comedic effect most of the time, particularly like her own assistant that's carrying all the stuff and all that. So yeah. But and the other two, which one particular went into a presentation that was ruined by Julian. But he isn't really in much film to like you be fully invested in him either. Maybe you find like the humor between them all like funny, but I don't know. So yeah, and I guess the sort of story had a few, I guess, inconveniences, but of like how to get into the grid and how to get out at the very least. But yeah, but I definitely say yeah, it's mostly the bad guys, or at least Ares himself, that are arguably the most engaging, but the protagonists side, not so much. Also, I think I have seen a bit of criticism with like how let's see, one corporation is full on evil and one's full on good, because, well, no one believes that about corporations these days, so that bit's kind of outdated. So yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. Yeah, but I definitely say the biggest mistake of this film. Oh yeah, one thing I probably also like. I do like the visuals that they actually brought back this sort of 80s style of the Tron grid. Let's see, not probably exact, but you know, there's sort of feel to it as well. So props there. But yeah, I will say the fact that this film is probably not really a follow-up sequel to like Tron Legacy, I think will probably do it some damage with those who wanted to see that storyline come through. I feel like this film probably might have done better if it was the first of a new trilogy, after like the original Tron trilogy sort of came over with like Tron and Tron Legacy and whatever sequel they're planning to do with that. But they have teased, of course, that this is going to be something they might do down the line. But given apparently the box office performance, it's very unlikely, at least for another, like, say, 15 years, I guess, maybe. At least, I don't know, probably a decade at least before they decide to do like another Tron movie or TV show or something, depending on how the technology goes. But yeah, but no, let's see. No, I think it's a bit of like just saving that. Okay, I get why probably like, okay, not everyone's gonna probably watch Tron Legacy. Let's do it like a soft reboot thing, kind of like what they did to Star Wars, but that led to so many problems down the line, and arguably could probably lead to problems down here with Tron Ares. But yeah, but who knows? We might not ever get those answers for like Tron Ares. So let's see, that'll lead to like tie-in with the Tron Legacy, but I digress. But yeah, and I will admit, let's see, when you got all those trailer teasers about, let's see, the grid, those from the grid entering the real world, it only was like really just that one ship and not like a massive army. So it's like you kind of thought that was kind of being the scale of it, but no, it's just more of a police chase scene kind of thing. So yeah, let's see. But other than that, I'd say the action was well done, the music, but yeah, and arguably, while okay, Jillian has like his own plans to the grid, but I don't know if he'll be coming back as an antagonist. So yeah. I think another thing that also I suppose with this movie is like none of the characters from Tron 1 and Tron 2 in this. Let's see, except for maybe Kevin Flynn, but yeah, but which also I think is another criticism of this film is like no Tron in this film. I mean, granted, Tron wasn't really much into in the other film, Tron Legacy, partly because he was programmed to be like the top lieutenant of the main antagonist until he saw Kevin Flynn and regained his like memories and all that stuff. But granted, he seemed to be left for dead. But it seemed like he was turning. Let's see, but after being pool of water, he turned back to his original programming and all that stuff. But I think people would like to have seen like what had happened to Tron and all that stuff. But no, it looks like we're not really getting that. Will we ever get that? Who knows? But yeah, arguably, but yeah, overall, this film is like if you go for like the spectacle and music, I think you have a fun time. I think I've seen some people say that the IMAX version is like arguably the best, so to experience this film, so I recommend that. Granted, I think most people like if they don't think the film is good, they're not going to watch it from Disney unless it's like an animated film. But yeah, but who knows? I don't know if this film will be financially successful, but at the very least, I think if it does well on Disney Plus, who knows? There might be something more with this Tron franchise down the line. But if not, we might have to wait for a long time, or if not, never. So yeah. Overall, I think the scores you can give this film are probably like either 4, 5, or 6. But I'm being generous and giving a 6. It's not arguably the worst film I've ever seen, and arguably not the worst film I've seen Jared Leto star in. But it's still not really as or it's like a great film, and arguably probably I do think like Tron Legacy and Tron are probably would be regarded as the more better films, but you never know. So but yeah, so arguably I'd give it a 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. Fun action scenes and music thing, and I do like some of the characters, particularly on the villain's side, but the protagonist side is kind of bland, and the story is kind of, it feels like a first or second draft of a screenplay that arguably needed another more rewrites to be more effective of like some of the character writing and perhaps maybe a bit more build up to like certain moments of those. But yeah, so arguably I had a fun time watching the film, but granted it's like a film that you shouldn't take too seriously, and you just have fun just watching the effects. So that's overall my score. So yeah. Anyway, that's me done rambling for this let's see movie review. I hope those who listen in had fun and listening to what I said, or at least took to consider whether or not I recommend this film or not. But which I say, like again, probably see in the cinema if you can, just to live the sort of experience, which apparently, depending on who you ask, it's among YouTubers, go to the IMAX one. But yeah, but anyway, let's see. I have nothing else to say, so I'm going to say good night, everyone, and I hope you enjoy your day, and hopefully I'll get that One Piece review out soon. But for now, goodbye.